All right, 26 minutes after the hour, y'all. We got the one and only Congresswoman Sheila Jackson-Lee on the phone, Houston's own. So happy to have you this morning. And you, before I ask you about the stuff that's going on in Atlanta, you wanted to finish talking about the bill that that y'all
the George Floyd bill. Yes,
right.
Rickey.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just say, too many moms and dads, black parents, have buried their sons. And so this bill makes sure that you prohibit excessive force, the kind that we're going to talk about with the Atlanta heinous and ridiculous action that occurred, ending racial profiling. More black boys, black men are stopped on the streets of America than any place else, and ending the no-knock drug raids like we saw that caused the life of Breonna Taylor. So this bill is comprehensive. We have never done a policing bill like this, and it's supposed to turn policing away from being a warrior, like dragging college students out of cars in Atlanta, and be a guardian, be a helper to the community. It's a massive bill. We ask that you all out there tell your congresspeople to vote on this bill, but tell your senators, Senator McConnell, don't block this bill. We're going to get this bill passed and change the way people are treated in this nation. They deserve justice.
Right, Congresswoman, if we act up on our job, any of us act up on our job or do something wrong or whatever, in radio, you probably won't get another job in radio. Same thing if you do something wrong as a school teacher or a fire department or whatever. But when you're a police officer and you kill somebody and you got a bad record as a police officer, how is it that they could go to another county and become a sheriff or a police officer in another city?
That is excellent. And the good news is, Rickey, that's a stop sign in this bill. We create a national database of misconduct of police officers, and police departments are supposed to check that when they're hiring people. And also, you're right, the judicial system designed something called qualified immunity, where you couldn't sue or you wouldn't win against a police officer no matter what happened. We've changed that and allowed people who have been injured by police officers and live, or families tragically who are suing because of their loved one is deceased, to sue the officer and to have a moment of opportunity to receive a redress of your grievances. This is the only profession, and there are good officers out there, let's put it on the record, good cops, who love what they're doing and love protecting people, protect and serve. But you've got to allow people to find the bad cops, because one bad cop makes it bad for all others. And that's what happens in this bill. It changes the way we police, from warrior fighting the civilian population to being a guardian.
Now, Senator Tim Scott, according to USA Today, Senator Tim Scott rejects key criminal justice proposals by Democrats, setting up a Capitol Hill showdown on police conduct.
Well, let me just say this. I work with Senator Tim Scott. And the good news is that he has a bill. The bad news is that it is reform light and milquetoast. But the Senate can pass their bill. The House will pass this very strong, vigorous bill, worthy of the name of George Floyd, and mourning, of course, for his family and all those who've lost loved ones. But we're going to pass this bill. And then there's something, Rickey, called conference, putting the bills together. Our fight is that we're not going to stand down from our bill. Our bill changes lives. Our bill saves lives. Let the Senate pass their bill, and we'll see where we go. But we're going to fight to make our bill the law of the land.
What do you think about that executive order that Donald Trump signed? I think that was the day before yesterday.
Well, let me just say that executive orders sometimes are not worth the paper they're written on. I think the point of it is that the president understands that the nation is not going to wait. They're going to be in Dr. Martin Luther King, who had to fight 50 years or more ago. And he said, why we can't wait? And he said, now is the time. The president was responding to the movement of this nation in a light way, doesn't really want to do it. But really, in order to change laws, just like I have my commission to study reparations, H.R. 40, to deal with the huge disparities in the African-American community and the recognition that we were never compensated for slavery. It's got to be the United States Congress that is going to make this change. And any president that comes, I hope in 2020, November, that this bill will be able to be signed into law. You've got to make those kinds of changes. And, Rickey, I've got a great announcement this morning as well.
Yes, ma'am.
The announcement is that many of you have, over the years, celebrated Juneteenth. And I hope you have celebrated it and honored it, because it was the only recognition of the freedom of slaves in this nation. In 1863, the President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, but guess what? A whole thousands of slaves did not hear the word until 1865, when General Granger came to Texas and said, "You are free." So Juneteenth was it tomorrow, which I hope everyone will take off or celebrate and honor those dead slaves, of which we are the descendants of enslaved Africans, and honor them. Today we introduce the national holiday. It is the Juneteenth Independence Day, to be established as a federal holiday with over 100 members of Congress, almost 100 members of Congress. It is called the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act, which will make Juneteenth a national federal holiday. And do we realize that the only day we have that can relate to our history, which we honor, is Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday? We want another day that the whole nation acknowledges the slavery of enslaved Africans, but as well the joy and jubilee of freedom and independence. I believe the nation wants this. I believe the nation has to have this. And I believe our history and the people of this nation that were part of enslaved Africans deserve this commemoration.
Wow. It is always a pleasure to run into you and see you. You're so awesome. And I really want to thank you for coming on the show this morning and taking time to talk to us and make sure that we are informed about the laws affecting our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee. How can we follow you?
I love it. I love it. I love it. You can follow me on my Facebook, follow me on my Instagram, and you'll see me on my Twitter account. Just go to my, yes, and I'm on all of those platforms, and I love you. I love seeing you. You know I love gospel music. You know we have the Gospel Music Heritage Month in September. So we just try to recognize that we have a place in America. We, too, are Americans, and your show truly says that to all our brothers and sisters and beyond, because we know everybody is listening to the Rickey Smiley Show.
Yes, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up. Show your love for Representative Sheila Jackson Lee.
Love you.
Jeff Johnson got 3 things you need to know. Coming up next, Rickey Smiley Morning Show.